Hey, it is your buddy. Peace and harmony with you here today. We are zooming in and we're focusing in on a great viewer inquiry and situation that they had sent in. And I want to kind of explore that to see if you can perhaps relate to some of the stories or situations or positions that people have been put in by a narcissist or more so a female psychopath. One thing you must understand about a narcissist or a psychopath is that they have a lack of empathy. So they are not able to connect with your needs. They're not able to really get it. They're not really able to understand where you're coming from or be open or receptive to that. So if you feel that there's a disconnect, that they don't really know you, and there's some cognitive dissonance going on where they have a facade, a mask of being interested in you, but that interest is more in the form of a control over you and a sort of impact where they can have credit for directing you, molding you, shaping you, really kind of from the outside in versus the inside out that we describe here. That is very typical social interaction approach and behavior from a narcissist, personality disorder, or a psychopathic individual. For one, there is a need of this person to control in the situation. They want to be the one who has attention, even when, credit is not due or attention should not be on them. So these are the people who want to be in the spotlight, but not more so the spotlight for doing something productive. They will oftentimes gain that spotlight by diminishing the light of others. And they do this by controlling others through the things that they say, the things that they do, the way that they treat people, the insinuated statements that they make. And I want to bring to light a very interesting situation where you can see this at play. Basically, the judgment, the controlling, the lack of empathy. Where, really the important things that to be attended to are not attended to. You're coming forth with some information or a connection which is basically heart-centered or eye-centered or, something that's important to you. Most people connect and have conversations with an emotional tone. They have a emotion running through their body. They have, a specific need, a specific point that they're trying to get across. And oftentimes they feel that the narcissist or psychopath will either not get it, not be open or receptive, or furthermore, degrade or diminish where you're coming from. So this is a very great example we got in. We had a viewer who had a health condition and an MRI result where basically it's not looking very good for this person. There's some abnormal tissue. There's a lot of very, intense and, terminal sort of health symptoms presenting. And so it's a very serious diagnosis. And so connecting, in other words, they're connecting from a very real perspective. In other words, negative health results are coming, they're having diagnostic tests, and she was connecting with a narcissist psychopathic individual and, in relaying of this information and that things don't look very good. And immediately attention was placed to, how come, you don't do this? Why don't you do that? Very negative, downcast behavior towards this individual. And furthermore, she followed up with, well, why don't I just give you this and this item? I've got this and this item. In other words, she was really kind of not even attending to the feelings of that situation. It was more so trying to control, well, what are you going to, the doctor needs this, the doctor needs that, versus attending and recognizing this person's feelings. She didn't care how that person felt. She didn't care how the symptoms were going. She didn't care, she basically downplayed, that you don't know what's going on. So you don't have really the right to feel like this could be abnormal. I mean, just completely ignoring this individual's feelings and experience of their health condition. And it was just, there was no reciprocity or psychological reciprocity of concern or fear or trepidation or embracing, or, it's just, it was very interesting how this was completely a disconnect in the relationship. So if you have felt this, well, just realize that oftentimes a narcissist or psychopathic individual, someone who does not have empathy, they're not really going to be able to be open to pick up, attend to, and psychologically reflect back to you really kind of your needs. They're going to miss the target. They're going to, the gamut of their of their conversation is not going to go there. Remember that they have an insatiable need to control, be in the spotlight, but they oftentimes will try to gain that spotlight by diminishing or basically, dimming the light of others through criticism, judgment, allegations or false accusations that you don't know, you're not in the right position, you should not be feeling this way. It's a complete negative validation of what you are going through. It's an invalidation, what they call negative validation in psychology. Is peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.